So hey everyone, I'm going to try to keep this one under 15 minutes. So of course Christmas is approaching by the time I record this. It's December 7th. I think this one should go out on Monday. Um, but as far as holiday plans, I know that a few things I know are going to happen is that I'm doing the Moody Gardens Iceland again. Going to take a coworker of mine, and mostly I kind of wanted to provide an excuse to just take a lot of pictures and video with my new camera. So, this is a couple of reasons, but, not the least of which is that it's a fun, semi-frequent holiday tradition. I took Strag 2 years ago, and it was really fun, and I'd like to go again this year because it's supposed to be sort of like it was the first time I went, pole to pole. So apparently it's a lot of different things, nifty things that they carve out of colored blocks of ice. And it's, if you've seen any of the videos I posted before, you've seen at least one of the two um, that I've posted in years past. And, so I'll do another one this year, and we'll take a look around, and hopefully hopefully it'll be interesting and exciting. As far as anything else, I know that let's see, we're gonna be having a lot of cookies around the house. I usually order Stations. I remembered this company that I usually order Petit Fours from, and there'll be a lot of holiday miscellaneousness. Christmas shopping has started. I have made some progress. Next time I get paid, I have to kind of finish it because that's really all. By the time I get paid again, it's going to be like the time to order things before it arrives for Christmas. But I've already made some pretty good headway. I'm about halfway done, I think, so I just have to finish the other half. Um, but overall, I think it'll be a good Christmas. I don't know about what's going to happen next year, but nobody does. But we'll see. I mean, I know it's going to be there's going to be challenges, but I really don't know if I want to say more than that right now, just because I'd like to keep this brief and positive. But insofar as writing news is concerned, I have been working on Winterfall 3 as far as new material, and I have been trying to finish the editing on the first Winterfall. Once I finish that one, I'll have to just figure out what I'm editing next because I've got a lot of things to work on that I want to try and refine and tighten up. And there's some things that, even though I haven't gotten feedback on it, I kind of, in hindsight, think that there's things I'd like to tighten up so that they're a little bit better. But we'll see how that goes. I know a couple of folks have been releasing some things lately, which kind of makes me, always has me with the what am I doing with my life kind of mentality, at least for a little bit. And I know it's I shouldn't do that, but it's just one of those things that's hard not to sometimes. But insofar as that's concerned, it passes. But hopefully soon, I'll be able to actually sort of add my name to the list, so to speak, and just sort of start regularly producing projects, which is something I've been trying to do for a long time, but it's just taken a while to kind of get into the right spot where I feel confident enough in what I'm doing. But I'm working on Winterfall 3 right now, honestly, because I need to work on some new material rather than just editing, because I need to feel like I'm making progress in a few other ways, because creative stuff makes me feel better. And so, editing is kind of more like digging into the meat of it, which, I mean, maybe some people enjoy it, but I find it draining a little. And it just is kind of just one of those things that, fine tuning it is less fun than just the joy of creating. So, I try to spread it out. And, but, I'm still trying to get started on some other projects. There's a lot of things I want to do and a lot of things I know kind of exactly how I want to do them. But, it's just a matter of making sure I'm making steady progress and just doing what I can do. Video news, obviously I'm doing a vlog. I am planning on doing some Christmas related videos. Moody Gardens Iceland will be one of them. Of course, I'll also at some point pull out the camera and take pictures of the Christmas tree and all that stuff, and just sort of show off the Christmas decorations such as they are. But I'm hoping for some good pictures with the with the shiny camera. And As far as I'm going to do probably some audio recordings today, but it'll be like the first phase of the next several stages of production. I'm probably working on some scripts as well because I want to do a couple of reviews that I still have to write the script for and work out exactly what I want to say. I mean, because well, vlogs are kind of a little bit off the cuff. I just have a list of topics and I just sort of go through them. The reviews, I usually like to think about what I'm going to say, kind of just write it out and just, kind of go from there. Um, let's see. Books I'm reading. I am on a new crop of books because I finished what I was working on, which is part of what I'm going to get started on today. Firewall and Davalia were both excellent books, of course, from David Mack, respectively, and Kel Gold. I never really expect anything else. Um, of course, I think I've probably mentioned by now, I'm working on Prisoner of Midnight, which is the second in Royce Day's Prisoner series. And so far, it's about what I expect, what I come to expect from Royce. The sense of humor is good. It's like I really always, like his stories. I never know what to expect when his stories start, but they usually kind of just whatever I'm expecting. It usually isn't that. So, it's always entertaining to see his pieces and to sort of follow along and make comments as I go because it's just like it's at least for me anyway, it just always hits me just right. So I always enjoy reading his stuff, and I've still got a couple of other things left of his to read. Um, I have The Visitors after this. And I know that he has a story and reclamation project, although technically I've already heard it because I've listened to the Voice of Dog episode, but still it'll be enjoyable to read anyway because I'm interested to check out more of the setting because Royce had a good introduction to the world, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. And let's see. Um, Oh yes, I am moving. Blah. I'm continuing to try and read When the World Was Young because I want to finish that anthology. Now, obviously, anthologies take me a long time to review because I read each story, I write the notes on it, and record each section on an individual basis. And so that's why there's like usually anthologies are like a huge review that takes a lot of time just because of that. Each story gets read, each story gets thought about, each story gets recorded, and I kind of put my notes in a collective review, so it basically ends up being months and months of work that ends up going into these reviews, which hopefully I mean I'll try and give that level of attention just because as an author I know feedback is important, both positive and negative. It's like obviously it's my opinion. It's I think my educated opinion because I've got experience as a writer, as a reader, and also in furry. So I think I have a lot of useful input. But it's like if I say something that you don't like or that isn't flattering, it's like it's okay. I won't be offended if it's not useful to you because it's just my opinion, and that's and I try and be fair and I try and be reasonable. But I mean, there's some things that, and I guess I'm sure it'll be my turn eventually. It's just like there's some things that just don't hit people the right way. But the important thing, at least I think for me, is to try and be objective, try and be reasonable. And it's like if you don't like something, that's one thing, but also kind of, I try and make it clear when it's an opinion thing versus when it's something that I think is really just a universal flaw in the book, if I would even call it that, because it's just like there's some things that I just know it bothers me, but it wouldn't bother anybody else. But then there are other things that I read in some books that it's just like this is just a problem. But in any case, I guess that's what reviews are for, and at least insofar as reviewing furry fiction, I try and make videos just because I think that there aren't a lot of them out there. I think that there aren't enough of them out there, and I think furry fiction needs as much attention as it can get. Uh, I'd like to see more furry guests of honor at conventions. I'd like to see more attention to furry writing, furry music, because I know it's all about the art, but that doesn't, of course, mean that these books, that these stories, that these pieces of music are not relevant, because, I have to say that I've come to appreciate furry music in the last couple of years. It's kind of a lot of different stuff that has popped up through, even if it's just through furry projects, and the song isn't necessarily furry, but it's relevant. and it all is part of this fandom that is more important than ever now, especially with the, how divided the world is. And it's like we really need stuff like this to, because art is always its own reward. So, if you're writing, if you're composing music, if you're making video games, keep at it and please keep going because it's important. And, if it catches my attention, if I have time to look at it, it's like I will give you a review. I will tell you what I think. And, I'm not somebody that moves quickly. It's like, I work several months in advance of my videos. Even if I read your book like right now, it's going to be like probably a year before the review goes public. But that being said, it's still publicity, it's still attention, it's still me looking at your book, enjoying it, absorbing it, and giving my thoughts to it. Um, so hopefully that still is of value to you. And also, I will say that I have finally started reading Flung, which is Utunu's second book. Um, I kind of guesstimated when I originally bought it, and I think I told him December was probably when I would get to it, and apparently I was right. December is first when I'm getting it. I just started it. I've only read the first 12 pages, but so far I like the chemistry between the characters. I like the world that's being presented. It's a pretty good sci-fi setting, and although it's not even finished with the first chapter, it's like so far I have good feelings about it. So, I don't know how it'll measure up to his last entry, but I'm looking forward to it. Of course, I acknowledge it's a different animal, different series, different genre, different everything, but I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. And, I mean, it's going back and forth on, uh, whether or not I should read it next or if I should, because I have like 13 furry books on my pile right now. But ultimately, I decided, I'm still trying to read like one ebook and one physical book at about the same time. So, Far Flung, I just decided it just was time, or at least it just kind of made sense. Because I mean, I try and read them in the order that I purchased them. Um, I may violate that order a little bit for Tiberius and for Jay, just because I'm interested. I mean, that's part of it because it's like out, admittedly, and the old adage, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Well, it's like in furry, that's kind of impossible, just because cover really does make a difference, and because it's your first visual impression. And again, this goes back to the whole importance of furry art and furry and all that. But that being said, with the covers, I mean, isn't necessarily the only deciding factor, but I am intrigued to check out all these books, but the covers for Jay's book and for Tiberius's book has certainly caught my attention well before I got into any of the meat of the books. So that in itself is a point in their favor. Now, of course, this does not mean that I'm not interested in reading Maddie's Koheleth. I may be mispronouncing that, and if so, I apologize. Or that book, Moondust, I think that somebody recommended to me, and it's like I will get to them eventually. But as far as the ones that give me the interested feeling, these ones are the ones that are catching my attention so far. So to Tiberius, to Jay, to Royce, to Atunu, and I think it's Peace Bay who did the art for When the World Was Young. I again could be mispronouncing that, but I am intrigued into making steps and progress into all of these worlds. So for now, it's Far Flung, Prisoner of Midnight, When the World Was Young. When I finish When the World Was Young, I don't know if I'll work something else in there or if I'll just keep to a two-book system or whatnot. Maybe I'll just kind of keep an anthology on the side just to work through Reclamation Project when I need a break from one of the other two. Because I'm enjoying the books. I like to take my time. I like to give some serious thought to it, and it's like it's good when I get to it. Now, I guess I have to wrap it up quick because I'm almost at the 15-minute mark. But I will say that I'm still enjoying Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm enjoying going back through Fantasy 14 online. Now that I finally can actually play a cat girl, it's like it's closest thing because I like playing furry races because duh. But and although I still am mildly annoyed at the lack of zebra races in video games, you take what you can get. That being said, it's so far been a fun game, and a lot of it is just the parts that I've been on before. I don't know Some of the missions probably are just maybe I've done them before, maybe I haven't. I don't remember. A lot of the Final Fantasy VII missions are just kind of not Final Fantasy VII, 14 are just go kill the thing, bring it back, reward. But in any case, I guess that's it for now, and I will catch you all up when I see you in 2 weeks.
If you like werewolves, check out my book Blue Moon, available in paperback and ebook on Amazon.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. You can also find me on Twitter and a few other places on the web, or support me via Patreon or Ko-fi. Zebra hugs!